Let's start with the 5th chapter in our second year economics, that is agriculture sector. Guys, we all know that agriculture sector is a very big sector in our Indian economy. It is the sector which had its predominance ever since our independence and still is predominant in our general culture as of now also. Let's jump into the introduction part. Any economy consists of three important sectors. These are, first one, agriculture sector, which is also known as the primary sector, industrial sector, which is also known as the secondary sector, and third one, service sector, which is also known as the tertiary sector. So this was about the introduction, guys. Let's understand it even little bit detail. In this unit, various issues are discussed related to agriculture sector only. That means we will study about agriculture sector only in this unit. Some issues we will study, such as the first one, importance of agriculture, growth of agriculture in Indian economy, causes of low productivity of agriculture. That means why do we have so much of low productivity in our agriculture sector, measures to improve the agriculture productivity, land reforms, the glimpse we already studied in our balanced regional development part, where land reforms were there, abolition of zamindari system. Then we'll study about green revolution and its impact, agriculture finance, then rural indebtedness, agriculture marketing, and pricing food security in India. That means pricing and food security in India. So these are the things that we will study in this chapter. Let's start with the importance of agriculture sector in economic development. That means what is the importance of agriculture sector for the very old topic known as economic development. I hope you remember in 1985 I teached you economic development, right? Yeah. So that economic development, what is the role of our agriculture sector to contribute towards our economic development? The first one, contribution of agriculture sector in national income. Obviously, if at all we want economic development, then agriculture should contribute towards our national income or GDP. That means productivity should increase. After introducing planning in India, the share of agriculture in national income has reduced due to development of secondary and tertiary sector. Anyhow, after planning came into India, we already studied the planning chapter. We studied about Niti Aayog, we studied about various 5-year plans. Ever since planning has come to India, we have understood that agriculture sector has gone down with its importance and secondary and tertiary sector is growing up in a rapid phase. In 1950 to 1951, the share of agriculture sector and its allied activities was 56.5% in our GDP, and it has decreased to 24.7% in 2001 and further 13.9% in 2012-13. That means the contribution towards our GDP has gone drastically down, which has in birth give us a greater contribution from secondary and tertiary sector, and we know for economic development we need that secondary and tertiary sector should give more productivity, and that's the reason the contribution of agriculture sector in national income. Let's understand the second point, that is providing raw material to industries. See, without raw materials, you can't actually expect to have industries. Industries' work is production, and production is nothing but conversion of raw material into what? Finished goods. So, providing raw materials to industries. Industries get raw material from where? From agriculture only. For raw materials of several industries rely on agriculture directly or indirectly. You check any industry, you just name it. It is directly or indirectly related to agriculture only. Let it be sugar industry, let it be food industry, even film industries has its shootings happening in agriculture land only. You see DDLJ, you see Jab We Met, you see Udta Punjab, any movie, they are directly or indirectly anyhow related with agriculture sector only. At end of the day, let it be actor, let it be laborer, let it be anyone in the world, he needs to depend indirectly on agriculture sector for basic food. So any industry, its backbone is always agriculture sector only. The industries like jute, cotton, textile, sugar, flour mills, food processing industries, etc. depends directly on agriculture sector. So any kind of industry such as let it be jute making or cotton textile or sugar, flour mills, food processing industries, any kind of industries are directly related and dependent upon agriculture sector only. Most of the cottage and small scale industry are also dependent upon agriculture only. That means small scale industries which are making natural fertilizers or which are making pottery, these all things are directly dependent upon agriculture sector only. So in this way, agriculture sector provides raw material to the industry. Let's understand the third point, that is share of agriculture in employment. In India, more number of people are employed in agriculture only. That means we have a lot of people who are actually working for agriculture sector only. The number has increased from 98 million in 1951 to 235 million in 2001, and in 2008 to 11, 46% of the male and 65% of female workers provided employment in agriculture sector. So such high is the dependency of employment in agriculture sector. And you know, if at all we have good employment, it will help us in good economic development. So that's the share of agriculture sector in employment. Let's understand the fourth point, that is market for industrial product. In developing economies, majority of population stays in rural areas. That means majority of population are staying in rural areas, we know, because there is industrialization, urbanization which has already happened, and we have already studied it in the last chapter. So the purchasing power of rural people indicates industrial development. If at all people of rural areas are earning more, their purchasing power is more, then there will be industrial development also. For low priced and medium priced consumer goods, rural areas are the largest market. That means for any kind of low priced consumer goods, rural areas are biggest market. Guys, for small example I will give you. We stay in urban area, and whatever we see now, if we go to a small kirana shop, basic things that we get like toothpaste, etc., shampoos and all, they are of 3 rupees, 4 rupees or 25 rupees, 35 rupees, there will be a bit more. But when we go to rural area, the rural marketing is also different. They make consumer goods with respect to the rural people's accessibility. There you will find, instead of 3 rupees shampoo, 1 rupee shampoo, which will be smaller in size, but they can afford it. Instead of 25 rupees, 30 rupees close-up Pepsodent, you will find a small tube of 10 rupees in Colgate or Pepsodent. So such kind of small kind of marketing is done, and that is a very big large market for industrial development of industries and for economic development also, because it is accessible by the rural people, and rural people is the largest market of India, and Hindustan Unilever has utilized it very properly by doing specialized marketing for rural areas. So that's the importance of market for rural industrial products in rural industry. Let's understand the fifth point, that is provision for food security and poverty reduction. Increase in the production of food grains is important, as the demand for it is increasing rapidly due to heavy pressure and rapid increase in labor surplus economies. Because there is an increase in production, that doesn't mean there is no increase in the population, because the production is also increasing, population is also increasing, there is a very big increase in labor surplus also. That means labor surplus is more. There are more number of people who are not employed. So that is creating one of the problem. As per FAO and UNO, the major problem in India is underweight, hunger and malnutrition. The main problem is we are not having food security, and there is a underweight, hunger and malnutrition. That means people are not getting the nutritious food as their body demands. As most of the people depend on agriculture for livelihood, development of this sector helps in poverty reduction. If at all the development of agriculture sector happens in a proper manner, then the livelihood of the people will develop, and then poverty reduction will be there. And when poverty reduction, food security is answered properly, it will help us in what? Economic development. So that's the important point about this provision of food security. Food should be secure and everybody should get food, and they should also have poverty reduction. That is the one point. Let's understand the next point, that is capital formation. It is not possible to achieve economic development until the rate of capital formation rises to higher level. Guys, what is capital formation? I already explained you. That is, it is the process from where the money goes to industries, and industries use their money to get it into bank, household deposit into bank, from bank industries take loan, households take loan, household deposit money, industry deposit money. So that total formation of money that goes around in the form of capital formation, that is known as economic development of capital formation in general. In developing countries, the largest sector is agriculture sector and plays a key role in enhancing the capital formation rate. That means rate of capital formation is always dependent on agriculture sector and its development only. Let's understand the seventh point, that is importance in international trade. In India, the main agriculture product for export are oil seeds, sugar and tobacco, spices, tea. That means the main cheese or the main things that we export is not cheese, it is oil seeds, sugar, tobacco, spices, tea, etc. So these are the things that internationally acclaimed in from Indian economy. During 1950-1951, total proportion of agriculture goods exported comes to 70% of India's export. That means the total number of goods that we have exported or promoted were almost 70% of India's export. So that is the importance of international trade. And if the international trade increase, we will get foreign capital, which will actually help us in what? Economic development. However, the share of agriculture goods in total exports has declined due to diversification of exports and progress in economy. Though actually the export development has actually declined a little bit because we are diversifying our exports and progress of the economy. For the progress of the economy, we have to focus on self-sufficiency. So we have actually stopped or declined a little bit of exports, but if at all we increase and we understand the importance of international trade, then agriculture sector will help us in what? Economic development. Let's understand the next point, that is role of agriculture in economic planning and economic development. Development of agriculture is necessary for development of a national economy. If at all you want the agriculture sector to develop, then it will develop the national economy, because our economy is a agriculture predominant country. Agriculture is the main support for banking and transport system in India. Agriculture, if at all agriculture sector is not there, then we will not have various banks such as NABARD and other rural banks, which we will be studying in little bit detail. And transport system is also very important in agriculture sector. That only displaces the food grains from Punjab to the entire India, and it displaces the sugarcane from Maharashtra region to entire India. And there are many other things that are grown throughout the India, which is just displaced from one place to another with the help of transportation. And if at all agriculture sector doesn't develop, then the transportation system in India will not develop, which will be a main problem for economic development, because infrastructure facilities will be affected then. Sustainable and balanced development of agriculture and allied sector is necessary to preserve the ecological balance also. Sustainable development, we already studied in the planning chapter. Sustainable development, that means using the agriculture resources or the natural resources now in an optimum manner and saving it for future generation. That thing should be done in a very nice manner to preserve the ecological balance for future generation also. The 10th 5-year plan emphasized that agriculture is the central to rapid economic development of the country. That means agriculture is the center for any kind of development in the country. So this was about the importance of agriculture for economic development. Thank you.